Hey everybody, this is a Dyneema zip bag made with a pleating method instead of a box method. So here's a bag that has been sewn up into a box shape. And for these bags, instead of using the box shape, I'm doing the pleated. So what this does is this gives the bag a little more strength and a little more water repellency. So this bag, when it's sewn, instead of having the material folded up into this box pattern, all of the material is in these pleats. So with Dyneema fabric, you guys that have sewn it probably know if you puncture it, it pretty much makes like a tear here thing because it's not woven, so the holes don't seal up. Like with ripstop nylon, you can sew it and puncture it and then kind of massage the holes closed. With the Dyneema, that's not the case. So having the 4 layers of Dyneema all in one stitch area boosts the strength. It's like with a cubed bag, when you're filling it or unloading it, there's a stress point right here where the zipper terminates in the fabric, and it's only 1 layer of fabric right here. So for ripstop nylon, that's fine because the ripstop nylon will stretch, and where it's been punctured with the thread, it'll just stretch around there. But with Dyneema, wherever you puncture it, it really needs to be a lot stronger. And another thing it does, so Dyneema, it's 100% waterproof, but the zipper is water resistant. And where the zipper is water resistant is where it pulls and the teeth get exposed. And also where it's water resistant is at the very end, because typically if you don't really pull the zipper shut, there'll be a little gap right there, and that's where water droplets can get in. So with the stitching like this at the end of the zipper with 4 layers pleated in, the zipper never has any stretch. Like with the cubed bag, there's always a bit of stress going on right here where the zipper is, opening those teeth up. Now with this thing, when you fill it, there's minimal stress out here because you have these 4 layers holding everything together. And also when the bag is full, there's really minimal stress out here because all these the pleats are holding everything together. So now that the bag is full, even when it gets flattened out or overstuffed, the stress that would normally pull the 2 zipper halves apart, it gets absorbed by the little pleats that are left over up in the corners. As you can see, as I take this bag and stress it out, kind of like as if it was like inside of my pack. Like if I had it inside my pack and I was hiking with it or throwing it down on the ground, this bag would get compressed and squeezed, and that's when the opening can happen between the zippers. So with the pleats, as this bag, the contents of this bag get pressurized, the pleats can open up a little bit and take some of that rather than pulling on the zipper. Another thing that helps it with water resistance, so if I hang this on the outside of my pack, I can put the zipper towards the inside so that the rain doesn't hit the zipper directly, and the bag will stay like this. It'll stay with the zipper like this, so the rain can hit it and the zipper will be under here, not getting directly pelted by the rain. If you use a square bag in the same scenario, the square bag will constantly try to flop around because the top of it is flat and the top of this just is linear. So if you flip it like this, it will stay like this even when you bounce around. And if you also flip it like this for easy access, it will also stay like that. Something you might notice about the pleating on the bag, when you compress the bag full, what does that stitching look like? It goes across here and then up and down. This is a very similar method to how the bags are boxed in. But with this method, there's no line of stitching along here, no line of stitching along here that needs to be seam sealed. There's just 1 row of stitching and 4 layers of Cuban fiber in there, keeping the end of this bag nice and strong. With a boxed bag, you have a seam here and the seam across, and then the other seam right here. Where the corners are for Dyneema is the stress point. There's a corner here, a corner here, and a corner here, and anywhere there's a 90 degree, it creates a stress point. And as you can see, when you do a box sewing of a bag, you have this extra flap of fabric. So I'll empty this bag out, turn it inside out, and this is how the box sewing is done. You have this extra flap of fabric that can either be cut and thrown away and seam taped over here. But with the pleating method, this extra flap of fabric adds to the strength and adds to the capacity of the bag. And it reduces the amount of stitching needed to make the bag, and it also reduces the length of seam tape that you need for a waterproof bag. So it's just a more efficient bag that helps repel the water. And then last but not least, when this bag is in your pack, where the pleats are, it makes an excellent place to grab it without stressing out any of these tabs. Because sometimes, even though these tabs are heavy duty, you can have a lot of stuff in your bag. You can pull on these tabs, and you can tear the Cuban fiber where it has a lot of stitching. So this way, you have a nice little grab point right here. You can pull it up out of your pack. You can just hook it right here, and you can also just carry it around like that. Alright, thanks for watching. It's just a new way, or not really a new way, shoe bags are made like this. It's not a new method, but it's a method that I think is a lot better than doing the box method. You get a bag with the same capacity as a box-in style bag with a little more durability and a little more water resistance. Thanks everybody.